All Ball TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
See me in the club, bottle full of bub. Yeah. Chat, what up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? We here in the afternoon, y'all. Yeah. Your favorite light-skinned guy you love to hate and love at the same damn time. What's happening? We here, y'all. Get y'all butts in the building. Y'all know the drill. I see my family early. Thrill 'em guns. What up, baby? Thrill 'em guns pops. You already know how we feel. Love. Knicks connection. Foggy Moldies. I hope I said that correct. Nostalgic Nick. Terry TS. What up, baby? Yeah. We here, y'all. Y'all know the drill. Get in the building. Let's go. We ain't got to be going through all that. Let's stop acting Hasadiddy. When y'all see the notification, get y'all butts in the building. Straight up. Myth 6051. What up, baby? Brooklyn's finest in the building. Kate, what up, Kate? Yeah, we here, y'all. We here. We got some things to discuss. Marvin Smith, what up? Ross Taylor. Y'all know the drill. All Ball is here. Here to start some mess, as usual. I'm here to spark up some controversy. Yeah. And I'm here to act a fool with my family. The greatest chat in the universe. Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Tuesday to all of y'all. Joseph, I see you. I see you. Yeah, I see you. Williams Frank. Ah. Rory, I see y'all. I see y'all. Yeah, we here, y'all. Once again, hope everybody's having a great Tuesday afternoon. Knicks rehab. I'm here in the afternoon. Y'all see the thumbnail. Y'all see the thumbnail. Kate, thank you, baby. And I'm pretty sure you looking good too. Yeah. We like to look good up here. And I know the chat, goodest looking chat of all time. We here, y'all. But let's get right to it. Get right to it. Y'all see the thumbnail. Y'all see the thumbnail. We are not going to act like the East isn't back. I'm going to say it again. We are not going to act like the East isn't back. The East ain't sweet, y'all. Ain't nothing sweet over here. Those days of people talking about the weak East, it's terrible. Them days is over, y'all. Them days are over. The Eastern Conference has been representing the NBA in the finals for a while now. Right? Boston won, our Knicks won, Milwaukee won. But all the moves that's been made, we got to talk about it. And I want to hear what my chat, my family has to say about it. Yeah, we got some good topics today, y'all. We got two good topics, and I'm ending the show with the Odyssey review. Yeah. I'm going to say it again. Hopefully y'all stay here. I'm going to end the live with The Odyssey movie review. Big trash. But let's get right to it. We watch all the moves that's been made in the East. And whether y'all want to believe it was because of the Knicks or not, that's on y'all. The OG is in the building. Tory B. Yes. One of the head coaches of our starting five. King Speech, what up, baby? We have to be honest, y'all. The East is tough. Now, granted, our Knicks, best team in the East. Not arguing with nobody about that. I'm going to say it again. My Knicks, our Knicks, best team in the East. Not arguing with nobody about that. We have the best player in the East. By far. Yeah, I'm going there. The Knicks have the best player in the East. By far. I don't know why I like doing that. It's just, it makes your point that much stronger. By far. King Speech, what up? We have the third best player in the NBA. If you tell me he's the best player in the NBA. So I'm going to just go top three. You know, you got Joker, you got SGA, you got Jalen Brunson. After that, y'all can have away with it. I'm not having those discussions or those arguments anymore. I'm tired of it. So I'm going to say it again. There's a lot of good teams in the East. Are there any great teams in the East besides our Knicks? I don't think so. Are there any teams on the verge of being great? Maybe if they make another move or two, right? But let's just get this out the way. Our Knicks are the best team in the East by far. I think we have the best coach. I think we have the best constructed roster. And we by far have the best player in the East. Jalen Big Body Brunson. It's not even close. Yeah, I know who's in the East. Tatum, Brown, Giannis, and B. I know who's in the East. Don't care. Don't care. Swiss cheese all of them up. That's what our guy does, right? But let's talk about who is the biggest threat to our Knicks in the Eastern Conference, right? We have to admit, in all seriousness, y'all, we have to talk basketball. And, you know, a lot of us, we are very biased when it comes to our Knicks. I know I am, right? But let's be for real. Some teams made some good moves. Great moves, but some real good moves, right? But let's break down the Eastern Conference. Last season, you had the Pistons at number 1. You had Boston at number 2. You had our Knicks at number 3. Cleveland at number 4. Raptors number 5. Hawks number 6. 76ers number 7. Magic 8. Hornets 9. Heat 10. Right? Now, 11, 12, 13. All right, Bucks 11. Bulls 12. Nets 13. Pacers 14. Wizards 15. Now, we know for a fact some of those teams in the bottom are going to move up drastically, right? The Wizards, with the addition of Trae Young, Anthony Davis, the number 1 overall pick, AJ DeBanster, I doubt they be the worst team in the East. I highly doubt that, right? Then you have the Indiana Pacers. Halliburton is coming back, right? They picked up Zubac. They didn't really lose anything. So I think they'll pick right back up, right? Of course, they still got, great head coach. So I think, Pacers, the Wizards. Let's start from the bottom, y'all. Pause and bring it all the way to the top. Let's take our time with this. We ain't in no rush. Once again, All Ball TV, Knicks Rehab, we here in the afternoon. Who is the biggest threat to our championship Knicks? Y'all see the Cash App, y'all. ABTV3. Y'all see the Cash App, ABTV3. Y'all see the Instagram channel, All Ball TV3 _. Hit that like button, y'all, please. Hit that like button. Share, like, subscribe. Become a member. But the least you can do is subscribe to the channel. We are now at 15,500 subscribers. Let's get this thing to 20,000, y'all. We're gradually moving along organically the right way. And that's because of y'all. Appreciate y'all and love y'all more than y'all know. For y'all gifting, memberships, just listen, night in, night out, every day supporting. Thank y'all. But hit that like button, y'all. Share, like, subscribe. Once again, y'all see the thumbnail. Who is the biggest threat to our Knicks in the Eastern Conference? Now, we're going to go from bottom to top. I need y'all to engage. I need y'all help. Y'all know that. Flea and Fabian once again playing hooky. We'll discuss that tonight at 8 o'clock. But let's talk about it. Last season, the Wizards was number 15. The Pacers was number 14. Can we just all agree they will not be that far down this upcoming season? I do not see the Wizards being the worst team in the East. I do not see the Pacers being the second worst team in the East. Judge Dredge, what up, my brother? You know how we do. Light skins assemble. Yeah. Y'all know how we do. Love my chat. Curtis, what up, baby? Once again, let's start with the Washington Wizards. Last season, they were the worst team in the East with a record, right, of 17-65. I'm going to say it again. Last season, the Wizards were the worst team in the Eastern Conference. I would say the worst team in the NBA. Brooklyn PG, what up, baby? The record was 17-65. Now, in the offseason, they added Trae Young and Anthony Davis. They have a good young core. And then they got the number 1 overall draft pick, AJ DeBanster. Leroy Adams, what up, baby? Big shout out to everybody pulling up from Facebook. Love. Come on, y'all. Hit that like button. Share, like, subscribe. Once again, last season, the Wizards were 17-65, by far the worst team in the East, probably the worst team in the NBA. Do y'all see them now adding Trae Young, Anthony Davis, drafting #1 overall AJ DeBanster? Are they a threat to the Knicks? How much of a threat would the Wizards be in the Eastern Conference with those additions? Now, remember, last season they was 15, worst team in the East. I do not see them being that bad this season. What do y'all think? Do the Wizards have an opportunity to be a threat to anybody, let alone our championship Knicks? Who do y'all see them being a threat to? How far do you see them advancing? Do they make the playoffs? Right? Granted, if AD and Trae Young can get some chemistry and AD can stay healthy and be 85% AD that we know he can be, how good would the Wizards be? Like, this is serious, y'all. I don't think, the NBA, the Eastern Conference, can take the Wizards lightly. So, do you see the Wizards this season being better than a Charlotte Hornets, right? A Orlando Magic, a Toronto Raptors? Because we're going to get to all of them. Now, let's get to a team that's been a thorn in our side forever. The Indiana Pacers last season was the second worst team in the Eastern Conference. Their record was 19-63. Didn't even have 20 wins. Now, we know Halliburton was injured. They basically just threw in the towel, right? But they made a major move in trading for Zubac. I love Zubac's game. Now that he, got some offense going with his defense and his rebounding, I think that was major for the Pacers. And they didn't really lose much. They still have all those guards that drive our team crazy. So I have to ask y'all, how much of a threat is the Pacers? And we can't ignore, y'all, we didn't beat the Pacers in the playoff series yet. I'm going to say it again. We haven't beaten the Pacers, in the playoff series yet. Rick Carlisle, exceptional head coach. Probably one of the greatest head coaches, one of the greatest basketball minds in basketball history. He has to be at least top 15, top 20 greatest coaches of all time, right? So I have to ask y'all, we should know for a fact the Pacers aren't going to stay that bad. How much of a threat are the Pacers? Now with Halliburton coming back healthy, you still have Rick Carlisle as a head coach. You still have that core with all those guards. That's just a pain in our butt. And then you add Zubac, a rebounder, a defender, and now he has some offense with his game. How much of a threat is the Pacers to our beloved Knicks? They're not going to stay the second worst team in the East or the NBA. Now, Kate, I can't stand the Pacers, but we have to be honest. We haven't beaten them yet in the playoff series. They beat us twice. I'm going to say it again. We owe the Pacers an ass kicking. Yeah, they have no Mathurin, but they still have everyone else. And I'm pretty sure they may make another move or two. I'm just saying you cannot sleep on that style of basketball and that head coach. And as much as I can't stand Halliburton, he's turned himself into a superstar. What he did in that playoff run and in the finals, if he doesn't get injured, I'm just saying, will we be talking about Halliburton how we're talking about Jalen Brunson? I think that's a discussion for another time. I'm going to ask y'all again. If Halliburton wins that NBA Finals on the road, Game 7 against the juggernaut at that time, OKC Thunder, do we talk about Halliburton how we talk about Jalen Brunson right now? But I have to admit, I think the Pacers, another move, they will be a threat. They will be a threat because they beat us twice already in the playoffs. So until we prove we can beat them, I got to say they will be a threat. And it kills me to say that because I can't stand the Pacers. Like, I can't stand the Pacers with a passion, right? But let's move along, y'all. Nets, Bulls, Bucks, who cares? Who cares? I'm going to say it again. The Nets, the Bulls, the Bucks. 13, 12, and 11 last season in the standings. Who cares? Indiana and Washington is going to be way better than those teams. So there's no need to even discuss those. They are a threat to themselves, let alone anybody that's going to win. Oh, Cherokee, what up, baby? Missed you. How you been? Cherokee is in the building. Lady Nick, yes. Big shout out, Cherokee. Miss you. Now, this is where it gets tricky, y'all. This is where it gets tricky. Last season, number 10 seed was the Miami Heat. Number 9 was the Charlotte Hornets. Number 8 was the Orlando Magic. And number 7 was the 76ers. Now, for me, this bracket right here, this is where it gets dangerous, y'all. This is where it gets dangerous. This is where, for real. I'm going to say it again. Last season, NBA standings, the East. Miami Heat, number 10, 43 and 39. Charlotte Hornets, 44 and 38, number 9 seed. 8 seed, the Orlando Magic, 45 and 37. Number 7 seed, Philly, 45 and 37. Let's have that uncomfortable conversation, y'all. 7 through 10 are the biggest threats to the Knicks this upcoming season because of the moves they made. I'm going to say it again. Last season, 7 through 10 in the Eastern standings are the biggest threat. Let's start with the number 10 seed from last season, the Miami Heat. Y'all know what they did in the offseason, and they're not done. I'm going to say it again. The number 10 seed last season, Miami Heat, will not be the number 10 season this season. They added Giannis, former back-to-back MVP, former Defensive Player of the Year, former champion, Finals MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes, MJ, bench is trash, but they're not done. They're not done. They add another piece or two, they will be a problem, but they will not stay number 10. Now, as constructed, okay. But if they add another piece or two, which they know they're going to have to, they still have one of the best basketball coaches in the NBA, Eric Spoelstra. He's a champion, y'all. Very smart. They still have one of the best front offices in Pat Riley in the game. The Miami Heat will not be number 10 in the Eastern Conference. No way in hell, right? So adding Giannis alongside Bam Adebayo, kept Wiggins, still have a nice little young core. Yeah, K definitely don't have enough. But if they add another piece or two, we cannot ignore the addition of Giannis Antetokounmpo. I am not going to let y'all do that. Remember, they add a piece, they will be a threat. I'm not saying that they better than us. I'm not saying that they will beat us. But we going from bottom to top, y'all. Let's go to the number 9. Last season, the Hornets, one of the hottest teams during the second half of the season going into the playoffs. Everybody had high praise for the Charlotte Hornets till they got their you-know-what's kicked in the play-in to get to the playoffs. By the Orlando Magic, got stomped out by 40. Now, they got rid of Bridges, got rid of Ball, right? I don't know how much better or how much worse that makes them. But I don't see the Charlotte Hornets being as good as they were last season. I think they're going to try to rebuild. They have something positive and solid going. But I don't know how much I can trust the Charlotte Hornets to be a threat. I'm sorry. Now, can they be a threat to who? Miami, Detroit, right? Indiana, maybe Washington because, that's a young crew. But I'm not with the Charlotte bandwagon. So for me, it's a no-no for the Charlotte Hornets as far as being a threat. The Orlando Magic. Let me tell y'all something about that Magic team. I said this for the last couple seasons. Fabian has said this maybe 4 years ago, and he was dead on with this. If the Orlando Magic is coached correctly. They are a threat. Now, granted, they were up 3-1 against the Detroit Pistons and lost that series. But you've seen flashes. You've seen flashes. You've seen flashes of what they can be and what they're capable of. They're big pause, and they have every position covered, right? And they have a mismatch in Bincaro. It's just I don't think he understands how good he could be. Right? Now, am I saying they're a threat to our Knicks? No. But are they on the watch? Do you have to watch out for them? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Orlando had the same problem our Knicks had with us having Tom Thibodeau as a head coach. You get a better head coach in there, they beat Detroit in 5. And then now it's a different discussion. I'm just saying, they have a superstar. They have a guy you can put the ball in his hands. They have a solid bench. The Orlando Magic is good. I don't know if they're great yet. I don't know if they're ready to take that leap, right? So they may stay in that 8th seed range. They may once again be in the play-in, but they will by far be the most dangerous team in the play-in. Now, they have to make maybe 2 more moves to be relevant. Right, they're not ready right now. But they are capable of making some noise, as you see what they did in the first round against that juggernaut Detroit Pistons. Well, we know last season they were a juggernaut. Come on, 60-plus wins, MVP candidate. So the Orlando Magic, what do y'all think? Are they a threat? Now, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Last season, the number 7 seed. Yeah, MJ, they did lose Wagner. Yeah. My guy's starting early. This is what I love to see. Hit that Cash App, y'all. ABTV3. Curtis, thank you for your half a yard. Your half a man. $50. We are not the same team. They can't beat us. The bench is trash. Chicago will be the Cinderella of the East. Do you think Tatum will have the Celtics in the number 2 spot this year? We running it back. I got Orlando falling off this year. Can't wait. Let's stay right here with Curtis for a minute because he makes some great points. Now, Chicago being a Cinderella, that's wow. I mean, listen, if you can call out and that happens, you're a genius. Now, I don't see the Celtics. We're going to get to them. I don't see them being the number 2 seed. And I don't see Tatum being able to do what Jaylen Brown did, right? The Orlando Magic, I don't see them falling off. I just see them kind of staying right where they're at, unless they make another move or two. If they can make another move or two, I think they'll be just fine, right? But big shout out, Curtis. Thank you for that super chat, that $50. Always love my brother, one of the starting 5s. Let's talk about the number 7 seed. I see you nostalgic, Nick. Okay, y'all saying Chicago is a sleeper. We'll discuss. Well, let's get to the number 7 seed last season in the East at 45-37. The Philadelphia 76ers. We know what they just did. We know what they just did. They added MVP candidate, conference finals MVP, finals MVP champion, Jaylen Brown. The Philadelphia 76ers, by far, is the biggest threat to the Knicks. I'm going to say it again. The number 7 seed last season, Philadelphia 76ers, with the addition of Jaylen Brown, who has a chip on his shoulder. They've already showed him working out. The young man looked great. I'm not going to even lie. He looks scary. He brings leadership to that team, championship pedigree. He's a closer. He's a defender. And he's upset. Ain't nothing more dangerous than a person that's upset. Now, you can make a lot of mistakes when you're upset. But we have to be honest, y'all. The 76ers made the best move probably in the NBA in the offseason with adding Jaylen Brown. especially when all you lost was Paul George. That's an A+ move. That's an A+ move. And I don't want to give Philly no ideas, right? Because I don't want to help them be a threat to us. But if Philly can utilize Embiid how we utilize Mitchell Robinson, don't play back-to-backs, keep them healthy till they get to the playoffs, and Embiid and Brown get some chemistry, and Embiid understands the pecking order now, watch out, y'all. Watch out. Yes, Slim Slammer, the 76ers have a situation indeed. You cannot look past them. No, you cannot. I'm going to break that down again, y'all. Jaylen Brown brings to them what they exactly needed. Paul George was not capable of doing anything Jaylen Brown can do at this point in his career. Be a great defender, a great leader, a dog. Just consistent offensively. Keep everyone in line. Championship pedigree. And have a chip on your shoulder to prove everybody wrong. That's dangerous. That's dangerous to an already dangerous team. Now, granted, we swept them. Listen, I'm not picking nobody against my Knicks. But we have to be honest and fair up here, y'all. We breaking it down. Who's the biggest threat to the Knicks in the Eastern Conference? Tory B, you're 100% correct. I will stop. I'm sorry. But oh, Tory B, is it scary? See, one thing with me, I know certain people in our chat, when they agree with me, I know what the hell I'm talking about. Tory B, just give me a thumbs up. Am I on to something? Should I shut up? Drew Nami, what up, baby? Y'all see the Cash App, y'all. ABTV3. Y'all see the Cash App. ABTV3. Y'all see the Instagram channel. AllBallTV3_. Hit that like button, y'all. Share, like, subscribe. We are breaking down who is the biggest threat to the Knicks in the East. And we're breaking it down from bottom to top. We going from the worst teams in the East last season all the way up the ladder, y'all. We are at number 7. The Philadelphia 76ers. How much of a threat are they to our Knicks with the addition of Jaylen Brown? Tory B, I'm going to get off this topic because I don't want no Philly fans that may have some connections with the front office telling them what they should do. No, we going to get off that. But all jokes aside, I think the 76ers, I think that move was bigger than what Miami did with Giannis because Miami still has to fill that roster out. I think, Philadelphia adding Jaylen Brown, that was huge, especially, the way it happened. Especially, how, him and Tatum in Boston, just how that thing transpired. And I think, Jaylen Brown is going to come out this season and really try to prove everyone wrong. And he's really going to try to, win a championship. So that it's going to be very scary. It's going to be scary to our Knicks? No, but it will be exciting, right? It's going to be a lot of storylines, a lot of parity, and it's going to be a great rivalry, right? I love when we play against the Philadelphia 76ers. So now with them adding a piece like Jaylen Brown, it makes it that much interesting. But we can't look past how much of a threat Philly is. Iris Miller, how you doing, sweetie? Said got beats. What up, baby? So, yeah, number 7 last season at 45-37. I'm pretty sure the 76ers are not going to be the number 7 seed this upcoming season. They have 2 legit MVP candidates. They have a backcourt that is insane. The bill collector, what up, my brother? They have a backcourt that is insane. The Philadelphia Sixers are going to be dangerous, y'all. But let's move on up. Now we got the top 6 teams that were in the East last season. Number 6 last season. The biggest threat to the Knicks in the first round. They said they wanted us. We were down 2-1. Everybody was shaking in their boots, including your boy, old boy here. I'm not going to even lie. I was a little nervous. But the Atlanta Hawks, y'all, last season at 46-36, the number 6 seed. How much of a threat are they? If you ask me, 0. And I don't think they're going to be the number 6 seed next season. I think they're going to take a dive. I think they'll be in the play-in next season. The Charlotte Hornets, they're on the right track. But when you have an older player like CJ McCollum, who I love, right? But when you have to depend on him to be your second best scorer, that's not going to work. CJ McCollum right now needs to be on a championship contending team coming off the bench. I think that's where, he can be just lethal. Like if we had CJ McCollum coming off the bench, Lord have mercy, look out, right? So when you have a player like CJ being your second best scorer, that's what happened with the Detroit Pistons. When you have a guy like Tobias Harris, who has a lot of mileage, on their legs, and they have to be your second best scorer, your second best player at times in a league that's young, athletic, I don't see how you can be successful or be a threat. So for me, I don't think Atlanta is going to stay at the number 6 seed. I think they're going to take a few steps back. I think maybe they'll be in the play-in. Right? So, yeah, I don't see Atlanta being a threat, honestly, to anyone. I don't see Atlanta being better than the Hornets. Chad, I got to ask y'all, do y'all see the Atlanta Hawks being better than the Charlotte Hornets? With the Hornets and the moves they made, adding Nazi Reed and things of that nature? Now, I know they lost Ball and Bridges, but they added some pieces, right? So, I don't know if Atlanta Hawks is better than Charlotte. I don't know if they're going to be better than the Washington Wizards. They're not going to be better than the Indiana Pacers. Now, Curtis and some of y'all are big on Chicago. I know Caleb Wilson is a dog. I can't wait to watch him play. But Atlanta Hawks, sorry. 0 threat. No threat at all, right? Let's talk about now the number 5 seed, the Toronto Raptors. Last season, 46-36. Same record as the Atlanta Hawks. Now, we know they just added Kawhi Leonard, but it's not official yet. They got some some personal things going on. So I don't see the Toronto Raptors being as good as they were last season at all. Right now, the Kawhi Leonard thing might not be official. Depending on what happens with this case. With the Clippers and the money and how things went, right? We got it. We already talked about the Orlando Magic. Toronto Raptors, I think they're going to take a major dive. Now, if everything comes out correct and Kawhi Leonard is able to play beginning of the season, if the situation between Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers gets fixed, then, I think Toronto is a minor threat. Major threat, no. But a minor threat, yes. Because I think, in that front court, Barnes and Kawhi Leonard, 2 guys that are tough, that are defensively gifted, can rebound. So it all depends on what happens with Kawhi Leonard. If Kawhi Leonard can't go to the Toronto Raptors because of what's going on with him and the Clippers, then Toronto Raptors, for me, easily playing. They will not be the number 5 seed next season. So with that case, until we figure out what's going on with them and Kawhi Leonard, you can't really call it. You just can't, right? You just can't. And yes, Tory B, we can't see how Kawhi Leonard doesn't get suspended for at least a season. If that happens, Toronto Raptors is dead in the water. They will be extinct, like the raptor dinosaur. So, Toronto Raptors, number 5 seed, forget about it. Number 4 seed last season, 52 wins, 30 losses. I'm going to say it again. The number 4 seed last season, the Cleveland Cavaliers, at 52-30, are they a threat? Now, granted, We swept them as well. I didn't see no major moves they made. Now they re-signed Donovan Mitchell, gave him big money. They're looking to re-sign James Harden. That's where them being a threat goes out the window. If the Cleveland Cavaliers re-sign James Harden for some substantial amount of money, that's where them being a threat goes out the window. Now, if LeBron James goes there, all bets is off. If LeBron James goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers with that roster constructed as it is, now we saying something. Now we saying something. But if James Harden is your savior, Sharice Duncan, 100% agree with you. Trash. Right? So for me, I don't see Cleveland being a threat at all, honestly. I don't think what they have is enough. I don't think they're good enough defensively. I think they're too soft. As much as I like Donovan Mitchell, I don't know how much of a dog he is. I don't. So for me, will they still be a good regular season team? Yes. Hey, my guys in the building, youngest in charge, listen. Unless I see it from Shams, I don't believe it. I don't care what Twitter says. I don't care what no other platform says. If it ain't with Shams, I don't believe it. So no, LeBron James is not with the Philadelphia 76ers. The phone has not rung for LeBron James since he said he won't re-sign with the Lakers. No one wants him. I'm sorry. But I think Cleveland, if LeBron James go to the Cleveland Cavaliers, they could be a threat to the East. I don't know how much of a threat they would be to the Knicks. We swept them. And, adding LeBron to that roster, it does bring a superstardom, a certain kind of aura, right? It definitely puts them up there with some of the best teams in the East. I think you add LeBron James to this Cleveland Cavaliers team, you put them right up there with the Philadelphia 76ers, right? I think, those two teams would be the biggest threat in the East, right? I think that puts them above the teams like Detroit, Boston, right? But puts them right there with Philly. As much as I'm not a LeBron James fan, you got to admit he's still playing good basketball. And I think with a roster like Cleveland, he can do nothing but help. Go back home, get your city popping again. But if that doesn't happen and Cleveland re-signs James Harden, they're not trying to win a championship. They're just trying to stay relevant and put butts in the seats. Because we all know, if James Harden is your second best player, you're not winning anything. You're not a threat to nobody. I'm going to say it again. Cleveland, they did the right thing re-signing Donovan Mitchell. I don't see him staying there, though. He got his money, and I think eventually he's going to want out. He's probably going to want a bigger market and things of that nature and an opportunity to compete for a championship. But the Cleveland Cavaliers looking to reconstruct and re-sign James Harden is where them being a threat is out the window. So for me, I think Cleveland will still be a top 6 team because every team Donovan Mitchell goes to, they're a good regular season team. That's just a fact. But it doesn't make them a threat. Now, he did get them to the Eastern Conference Finals. You cannot sneeze at that. Donovan Mitchell, that's his first time getting to an Eastern Conference Finals, right? But they don't have enough. Not tough enough for us. Not physical enough for us. So, for me, nah. But I think they'll stay between 4 and 6. Because I still have them better than the Raptors, the Hawks, the Magic, right? The Hornets. So they'll stay right there. Let's talk about the number 2 seed. We know who was the number 3 seed last season. We ain't got to talk about them. They got to talk about us, our Knicks. But let's talk about the number 2 seed. This right here, this is where it gets tricky, y'all. Chad, I need y'all help. The Boston Celtics last season was 56 and 26. Number 2 seed. I'm going to say it again. 56 and 26 last season, the Boston Celtics were the number 2 seed. Now, some things have changed this offseason. Now, they were up 3-1 to the Philadelphia 76ers, but lost in the first round, game 7, at home, right? Jaylen Brown couldn't get the job done. But Jason Tatum, y'all, came back from injury. And now he got what he wanted. He got what he wanted. Cherokee, we're going to discuss that tonight, baby. Yeah, 8 o'clock tonight, Knicks Rehab. We'll discuss, any changes, anything going on more with us in the center position. But once again, y'all, the Boston Celtics, now without Jaylen Brown, now with their guy, who everybody says is the best player between the two, the more talented player between the two. Some people think Jason Tatum is a top 5 player in the league. Hasn't been an MVP candidate yet, to my knowledge. Right? Even when they won a title, a championship, he wasn't the finals MVP. He wasn't even the conference finals MVP. So last season, number 2 seed Boston Celtics. Where do y'all see them this season? Does Jason Tatum become an MVP candidate, a superstar? Can Jason Tatum do what Jaylen Brown did? Can Jason Tatum keep the Boston Celtics top 3, top 4 seed? Can he become an MVP candidate? Can Jason Tatum single-handedly, alone, make the Boston Celtics a championship contending team? We have to admit, Jaylen Brown, for a small amount of time, whether it was small or large, pause, it was a small amount of time. All the big networks, all platforms, at one time said the Boston Celtics were a championship contending team. And that was all because of Jaylen Brown. Top 5 MVP candidate, averaged 28 plus, kept the Boston Celtics relevant at a number 2 seed. Can Jason Tatum do that, y'all? Is the Boston Celtics any type of threat to the throne, to our New York Knicks, to the Eastern Conference? Can they stay at the number 2 seed? Is Jason Tatum and Paul George enough? I'm going to ask y'all again. Is Jason Tatum and Paul George enough to keep the Boston Celtics at the number 2 seed? Or do they take a big dive? Do they take a dip in the standings? I'm going to be honest. As constructed, I don't see them better than Cleveland, Philly, the Knicks. I don't see them better than the Miami Heat. And depending on the Washington Wizards and the Pacers with health, I don't see them better than them neither. And let me ask y'all, let's go there. 2 minutes. 2 minutes, y'all. 2 minutes. Please, I need y'all to answer this, engage in this heavy. What happens to Jason Tatum if the Boston Celtics isn't successful? That's a question, y'all. What happens to Jason Tatum? What are your thoughts? What would your thoughts be about Jason Tatum? What would the thoughts of the NBA world be about Jason Tatum if the Boston Celtics aren't successful? And when I say successful, top 4 seed, at least conference finals. What would y'all say? Would y'all say the Boston Celtics made a mistake? Would y'all say the Boston Celtics should have kept Jaylen Brown and traded Jason Tatum? Will we now start saying Tatum is overrated? Y'all know how this thing goes. Y'all know how this thing goes. We don't give no excuses up here, y'all. Jason Tatum is on a hot seat. He think he's going to be able to fly under the radar for his whole career, and no one says nothing about him because he's a nice guy and he's cool. Nah, that don't work. That don't work. We put pressure on all these players. Why is Jason Tatum flying under the radar? What type of pressure should Jason Tatum be under this season with the Boston Celtics? especially with what Jaylen Brown did while he was injured damn near for the whole season. So with that being said, I don't see the Boston Celtics being a threat, especially to our Knicks. And I don't know if they're better than Miami, Cleveland, and depending on, health-wise with Indiana and Washington, I don't know if they're better than them. So for me, Boston, Barney Rubble, y'all are in big trouble. Yeah. If Paul George has to be your second option, your second best player, boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs. I don't see Tatum being that dog like Jaylen Brown. I don't see Tatum having that chip on his shoulder. I see Tatum being a great talent, having great skills, but I don't know how bad he wants to be great. I don't know how he's going to compete or react this season not having that dog next to him on his side. Because Paul George is nothing like Jaylen Brown. Now, if this was the Paul George from the Indiana Pacers, then we're talking a different story. But that Paul George is long gone. This isn't even the Paul George from the Clippers. You're getting Philadelphia 76ers, Podcast P, Pandemic P, Paul George. You're getting side of the backboard, Paul George. You're getting fourth quarter go missing, Paul George. I don't know what the hell Boston was thinking. Big shout out, Curtis, once again for your $5. Number 1, Knicks. Number 2, Philly. Number 3, Heat. Wow, he's huge on the Celtics. Number 4. Number 5, Cavs. Number 6, Bulls. 7, Detroit. Indiana, 8. 9, Charlotte. Wizards, 10. Raptors, 11. 12, Orlando. Bucks, 13. Hawks. Nets. Finish it out. Wow. Curtis. Now, granted, the Celtics, they shoot the 3-ball well. But number 4 seed, for me, I would probably switch out. I would switch out the Celtics for Detroit. I would still have Detroit number 4. I would put Celtics number 7. I would switch out Indiana and Chicago. But that's a solid Eastern Conference standings right there, Curtis. Once again, I will swap Celtics in Detroit, and I will swap Indiana in Chicago. But that's a great list. What do y'all think about Curtis' list? Yeah, that's a great list. Geraldine, how you doing, baby? That's a nice list right there. And now, y'all, the number 1 seed last season, our arch nemesis that we never was able to play against in the playoffs. The Detroit Pistons last season was the number 1 seed with 60 wins, 22 losses. I'm going to say it again. The Pacers last season were the number 1 seed at 60 wins and 22 losses. What do y'all think about them this upcoming season? Now they lost Tobias Harris to the Spurs. We don't know what's going on with Jalen Duren. He hasn't been signed yet, right? I mean, they did pick up a young good guard in the draft, right? They picked up Collins, right? So they made some subtle moves. They made some B- moves. I don't see them making an A or A+ move. They made a C+ B- move with Collins and drafting a young small guard, maybe to help out. Brooklyn Jews, what's up, sweetie? Right? So for me, I think the Pistons take a dive. I don't see them being relevant. They lost, Beef Stew. So they lost some toughness. They lost defense. They lost rebounding. They lost rim protecting. I think they lost a lot. More so, I think Detroit lost their confidence. Brooklyn Finest, I disagree. I still think Detroit would be a top 6, maybe 7 seed. But a top 3 seed, no. Excuse me, no. Allergies, y'all. But yeah, I don't see Detroit this season being a number 1 seed. I just don't. I think Kay Cunningham is a great player. Like I said, MVP candidate. had a tremendous season. But until he gets some real help offensively, Barney Rubble, Detroit is in trouble. I think last season, was a perfect opportunity, and they missed their window. I think Detroit missed their window. Seriously. They had some guys on there that got exposed. Right? Their bench, Duren, their second best player, got exposed. And I think they lost a lot, including their confidence. So I don't see Detroit being a threat to the Knicks. I don't see them being a threat to the throne. Like I said, last season, 60 wins. They are not winning 60 games this season coming up. They are not. Not with the addition of, Brown to 76ers, Giannis to Miami. Like I said, depending on Trae Young and AD, how that works out in Washington. Cleveland is still going to be a good regular season team. Boston is still going to be a solid regular season team. They can shoot the hell out of the three, right? So I think Detroit is going to be in the middle of the pack. I think Detroit is going to be down there with the Atlantas and the Charlotte Hornets, right? The Orlando Magic. I think now that's where Detroit dips to. I don't see them being the juggernaut that they were. They don't have enough scoring. They just don't. I don't care how great you are defensively. If you can't score the basketball, you're not a threat. You're just not. So for me, I may see, maybe 3 teams, depending on a lot of circumstances. I think Philly could be a threat. Depending on health, the Pacers can be a threat. Like I said, they're just a bad matchup for us. They have a really smart head coach. And I think their style of basketball gets on our nerves. We haven't beat them yet in the playoffs, so I have to give them their props. And I always said if that Kawhi Leonard thing gets fixed and Kawhi is in Toronto, I think that's a threat. So everyone else, they're going to be fighting against each other to either get in the playoffs or make some noise in the playoffs. But I think our Knicks, I think we'll be fine. But for me, y'all, give me y'all 3 teams. Most threat to least. So 1, 2, 3. 1 being, the biggest threat, 3 being the least. Chat. Before we move on, give me your 3 biggest teams that's a threat to our Knicks. I'm not saying they're going to beat us. I'm not saying they're better than us. But 3 teams that'll give us a run for our money. For me, I have Philly 1. I have Pacers 2. And depending on if Kawhi Leonard in that situation gets fixed in Toronto, if he's with the Toronto Raptors, I have Toronto 3. So I have Philly 1. I have Indiana 2. And I have Toronto 3 if Kawhi Leonard is able to join that team. Give me y'all 3. Give me y'all 3. Okay, Joel Joseph. Philly 1, Indiana 2, Detroit 3. Reek Gotti, 76ers 1, Pacers 2, Heat 3. Okay. Yeah, me and Reek Gotti is similar. I got 76ers 1, I got Pacers 2, but I got, like I said, depending on Kawhi Leonard and what happens with him and the Toronto Raptors. Because I'm going to be honest, we have no answer for Kawhi Leonard. None whatsoever. He scorches OG Anunoby. Scorches OG Anunoby. Right? So, yeah. And OG is in the building. Big shout out to OG, the Oracle Ramsey. He has Philly 1, Celtics 2. He just says Philly and Celtics. Everybody else, OG said ain't no threat. Philly and Boston. Now, Boston is tricky because they shoot the hell out of the 3, right? And like I said, if you can get, you're not going to get Indiana Paul George. If you can get Clippers Paul George, then they can be a semi-threat. But I don't know. I don't know how much Paul George is in love with the game anymore. Geraldine said Pacers, Philly, and Boston. Okay, a lot of us agree Philly and Pacers. I don't agree with Boston, but y'all know me. Y'all always prove me wrong. And I end up apologizing to y'all. But everybody, a lot of us have Philly in the Pacers. A lot of Boston Celtics as well. I see one Miami. Yeah. Let's make a transition. Now that we got out the way, who's the biggest threat to our Knicks in the Eastern Conference? Let's make a transition. We have some of the younger players talking about the impact of the Knicks in what it is to win a championship and how a team constructed should be, right? This is Cam Boozer, right? Formerly Duke Blue Devils. I think he was number 3 draft pick overall to the Memphis Grizzlies. Cameron Boozer sees the NBA champion New York Knicks as the blueprint for his own NBA success. I'm going to say it again, y'all. We have some of the young players looking at our Knicks as the blueprint to be successful in the NBA. This is huge, y'all, because normally the younger generation don't respect the OGs. But here's what Cameron Boozer said. Look at the Knicks this year. Everyone on that team was capable of doing more than one thing. Everyone was capable of playing on or off the basketball. That's what I felt like I can do best. I can screen. I can handle it. You can put me in a lot of different scenarios. That's Cameron Boozer, y'all. I'm going to say it again. Number 3 overall draft pick, Cameron Boozer. Cameron Boozer says the Knicks are the blueprint for his NBA success. And I'm going to read it again. He said, look at the Knicks this year. Everyone on that team was capable of doing more than one thing. Everyone was capable of playing on or off the basketball. That's what I feel like I can do best. I can screen. I can handle it. You can put me in a lot of different scenarios. Wow. Wow. Big shout out Cameron Boozer, man. Chat, how do y'all feel about what Cameron Boozer said? That the Knicks are now the blueprint of how, a player or a team should be successful. To have a whole bunch of players that can do more than one thing, right? It's not only about defense. It's about being able to set screens, rebound, defend, energy, chemistry, right? Toughness. Wow. Well, I love that from that young man. That was huge because you don't see young players talk like that, right? And it goes to show you that he wants to win. He wants to be a champion. He wants to be great. And I 100% agree with him. Yes, OG, he knows. Brooklyn Jews, what you said? They scared, we not. That's right. But what do y'all think about what Cameron Boozer said? Is he correct? Does he have a point? Because we've been talking about that and alluding to that for a while now. That win, remember we always said win, not if, when the Knicks win a championship, it will be the most important championship in sports history. And since we've won, that's what it's shown. Y'all see the parade. Y'all see what everybody say now about the Knicks, about Brunson, about Cat, about OG. Y'all heard what Meta World Peace said about Brunson, comparing him to Kobe. Think about it, y'all. Our whole team. We don't carry the ball. We don't double dribble. We don't travel. We don't cheat the game. We play the game correctly. Think about that. Think about what Cameron Boozer just said and what Meta World Peace said about Brunson. What you can say about every player on our team. We don't cheat the game, y'all. That's the blueprint. That's the blueprint. Hard work and don't cheat the game because you're only cheating yourself. Big shout out OG Ramsey. Thank you for your $5. That's why I say Drummond fit will surprise people. Team concepts on both sides. Yes, OG, I agree. I said Drummond looks happy, looks in shape, and you can't tell me him in that locker room around those guys he's going to feel right at home. He's from the town. When you have an opportunity to play for a great organization, a great fan base, the greatest fan base, you play alongside of Jalen Brunson. Now you're going to see what everyone talks about. His clutchness, his leadership, right? Told y'all, he's Leonidas. Now you get to see what Leonidas is really about. And now you have an opportunity to play for a championship. That means everything. That puts an extra fire up underneath you. It just does. It just does. So, with Cameron Boozer saying that, man, that's much respect. And it just goes to show you that a lot of these young players, they want to play the game the right way. I think Metta World Peace, man, he said something that a lot of people misunderstood or flew right over their heads or they didn't care to hear it. Don't cheat the game. Think about it. Don't cheat the game. Guys don't travel. Guys don't carry the ball. Like, come on, man. So for Cameron Boozer to acknowledge that the Knicks, for him, is his blueprint to success means everything in the world. Because it's organic. What we did, y'all, wasn't manufactured. It was organic. And you'll never see nothing like this ever again. Ever again. I double stamp that. Yes, no flopping, no none of that. Think about it. The whole world was against us. The NBA was against us. The referees was against us. Look at some of the calls we get and don't get. Look at the way we officiated. And we still came out successful. So I think Cameron Boozer also looked at that. Like, yo, man, the blueprint is don't complain, work hard, play through it, and play the game the right way. The game is going back to the basics, y'all. I don't care how skilled you are. If you don't know how to play the basketball game the right way, if you don't know how to pick your spots, your angles, footwork, IQ, that's what Metta World Peace was alluding to. I don't care how talented you are. Everyone in the NBA is talented. You have to be able to put it together. Look at guys like Saul Thompson. Talented. Look at guys like Duren. Talented. Can't put it together. Saul Thompson, way more athletic than Jalen Brunson. I'm just saying. But you got to be able to put it together. And that's what Cameron Boozer is looking at. Set screens, rebound, camaraderie, chemistry, get to your spots, high percentage shots, play to your strengths, play together. I mean, y'all have to understand that's how championships are won. OG Ramsey, again, thank you. This team is 5 times better than the team that was searching last year. We found it. Yes, OG. Yes. Yes, I 100% agree. And that's what Cameron Boozer is talking about. These young players, they watch us in the playoffs. We only lost 3 games. We damn near swept everybody. And when you watch it, it's like, okay, that's how it's done. Those guys didn't complain. They played through contact. And they played the game the right way. So I think, just getting props and now having the young guys on the bandwagon means everything. Means everything. Now you have the younger generation ready to mimic and copy the Knicks style to be successful. That's when you know you're a great team. What Cameron Boozer just said puts us up there as one of the greatest teams to ever win a championship. I'm going to say it again. When young players in general, talk about that's, how they won is how you're going to be successful. Now, we can officially say we are one of the greatest teams to ever win a championship. You didn't hear that about the Denver Nuggets when they won. You didn't hear that about the Milwaukee Bucks when they won. You didn't hear that about the OKC Thunder last season when they won. You heard nobody say that. No one. There has been 8 different teams that's won a championship the last 8 seasons. When the Boston Celtics won, you didn't hear that. You hear it about our Knicks, though. You hear it about our Knicks. That's huge. That's huge. That's nothing but respect. So when we now talk about, people don't respect us and we have to win again to prove, no, we don't. What Cameron Boozer just said prove that we are one of the greatest teams to ever win a championship. We are one of the greatest teams in NBA history. Yes, the 2025-26 Knicks. And that is a blueprint to be successful in sports. That's what the young man Cameron Boozer said. Meta World Peace compared Jalen Brunson to the late, great Kobe Bryant. And our whole team plays like that. The mentality, never give up. Might not have the skill set like Kobe, OG, Hart, Bridges, Cat, right? That's fine. May not have the athleticism like Kobe. May not have the defense, the IQ like Kobe. But you have the mentality like Kobe. That's the whole team, y'all. That's the whole city. How many times were we down 30, down 20, down 15 in the fourth quarter? Less than 5 minutes left. And we watching those games and not giving up. What were we saying, y'all? Just get a couple stops. It ain't over. Get a couple stops. That's the Mamba mentality. That's the Mamba mentality. Cameron Boozer sees that. Meta World Peace sees that. And that's why we're successful. That's why we're now champions. Because this season, we didn't look past nobody. Last season, we looked past the Pacers after we beat Boston. This season, we were locked in, dialed in, and we didn't look past anyone. And the results, champions. Big shout out Cameron Boozer for giving us the respect and the props we deserve. The respect and the props that we had to take because no one wanted to give it to us. Big shout out that young man. Big shout out Meta World Peace. Because we've been saying it up here for how long, y'all? How long? And Kate, you're 100% correct. This season, whoo, I can't wait. We live watching every game. We hate watching every Pistons game, every Philly game, every Boston game. We keep an eye out on Indiana and Washington. We watching every Miami game. Listen, it's going down, y'all. Will of Thrill, what up, baby? Yeah. So, chat, great show today. Great show. Me and the brothers to be back tonight, Knicks Rehab. We definitely got a lot to discuss. Definitely going to discuss our big man search, the censor search. But I'm going to end the live with this, y'all. I know y'all want to hear it. I don't want to spoil you anything. Did anybody see the Odyssey? Did anyone see the Odyssey? Curtis, once again, we're setting a trend for the youth that's ready to ball first and worry about the bag later. F the club, I'm looking at film. That's why Harden don't Curtis. 100%. 100%. 100%. If you want to be successful, the Knicks is the blueprint. Stay your butt in the gym. The clubs in the streets ain't going nowhere. Stay in the gym. The bag will come later. The bag will come later. A lot of y'all didn't see the Odyssey, so I'm not going to spoil it for y'all. Y'all, listen, y'all got another week because I'm going to spoil it after that. I don't want to start breaking everything down and y'all haven't seen it yet and then y'all cursing me out. But for me, I'm going to just say this. The Odyssey 1 through 10, I give it a 6. And I'm only giving it a 6 because from a cinematic standpoint, a cinematic view, it was great. But for me, the acting, trash. Sorry. Chris Nolan, great director, dropped the ball with that type of cast. With that type of cast, that type of all-star cast, that movie supposed to be great from opening scene to the end. Simple. From opening scene to the end. Y'all see the Gladiator? Opening scene, on and popping. Braveheart, on and popping. Troy wasn't as good, but opening scene, on and popping. For me, Odyssey, very overrated. Very overrated. I ain't gonna bring nothing down. I'm gonna give y'all another couple days, maybe a week. But for me, I'm a movie. Listen, if my job can be to go to the movies, I would be rich. I can go to the movies every day dolo. Watch the previews, upcoming movies, all that. Watch the trailers. I love it. 300 from the beginning, on and popping. For me, the Odyssey dropped the ball. A lot of these platforms is being paid to say how great it was. I ain't talking about how much money it's going to make. Of course it's going to make money. Ain't got nothing to do with that. All Ball does nothing but keep it real. Was not a great movie. There was not one great scene. Not one. Even the scene that they tried to make great, it was half-ass. I'm just saying. This is Greek mythological. I wanted to see out of this world mythological things. Some of them they didn't give you enough. Some of them they gave too much. But like I said, I'll leave that live for another time. Chat, love y'all to death. May y'all Tuesday be great for the rest of the Tuesday. See y'all tonight, 8 o'clock, Knicks Rehab, where me, Flea, and Fabian will be in the building. And we'll have some topics, some Knicks topics to discuss. Everybody stay nice out there. Stay dry. It's supposed to rain all day. See y'all later.
All Ball TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.